We are watching Bret and Cindy in the tropical Atlantic. Good evening, I'm Mike Naso with this late night Friday, early Saturday morning video update on the tropics. Tropical storm Bret getting shredded by wind shear, sitting just north of the ABC Islands of the Caribbean. Still a tropical storm, expected to dissipate by Saturday night. And then Tropical Storm Cindy looking a little bit better, expected to strengthen, not quite to a hurricane, we don't think, before that finds its way into this strong wind shear and dissipates as well, although there is a chance Cindy could come back somewhere between the Bahamas and Bermuda. We'll talk about that. Here is the latest as of 11 p.m. Eastern Time, which is also Atlantic Time, on Tropical Storm Bret. Bret was at 12.9 north, 68.1 west, down to 50 miles per hour, but still a moderate-range tropical storm, moving west at 18 miles per hour. Most of the tropical storm winds are north of the land areas, and so we don't have any more watches or warnings. It should dissipate sometime in the next 24 hours, somewhere north of the coastline of Colombia. Again, the track looks rather broad, but it's pretty much straight west, and whatever's left of Bret, which won't be much, should move right on into Central America, probably areas there of Nicaragua. Here's the satellite imagery on the water vapor, and the center of Bret, you can't see it on water vapor, but it's actually north of the ABC Islands. This is Aruba, and then this one's Bonaire, and then this one in the middle is Curacao. So that's the ABC Islands there, and the center is actually just north of that, right in that area where I circled, and all of the convection is off towards the east because of this wind shear. And again, on this map, there's the wind shear blowing right in towards Tropical Storm Bret. Very, very disorganized. You'd never know there's a tropical storm there, but it's battling it, it's fighting, but it will ultimately be a losing battle. Tropical Storm Cindy, as of 11 p.m., was at 13.9 north, 50.4 west, also 50 miles per hour, but Cindy is on the way up in intensity. Bret is on the way down, moving west-northwest at 15, and it is expected to strengthen a little and then weaken and dissipate by Tuesday, and move generally northwest between areas there of the Greater Antilles and the island of Bermuda. Now, Bermuda, you got to watch it because taking a look at the satellite imagery, Cindy is trying to get a little bit better organized. So right now it's not expected to become a hurricane, but there is a chance it could. Bret came close, and it looks like Cindy's going to come close as well. Still battling some wind shear here, not a perfect environment by far. The computer models with Cindy are in general good agreement the next couple of days, but then they all want to take it north. However, if the system doesn't dissipate, it could come back. And I mentioned this in one of the updates yesterday or the day before, that sometimes we see systems develop and then they kind of die out. And then what's left of them gets here between the Bahamas and Bermuda and becomes a tropical storm or a hurricane, and actually gets at its strongest point as it's moving out to sea like that, or impacting Bermuda. So that's what some of the computer models are showing, that Cindy could strengthen a bit, then weaken, and then come back and potentially threaten Bermuda as it heads generally towards the north and northeast. But we're going to watch that very carefully. Wind shear, this is why Bret's going to die in the Caribbean. Bret is right here, and these wind shear vectors are just blowing straight into it and up. And so this is the wind shear that Cindy is not currently in, but is about to head into, and we'll have to deal with. But again, if Cindy gets out into this area where it's slightly more favorable upper level conditions, we could see it try and come back. Off Africa, we were watching that wave behind Cindy really kind of died out here. There's another spin in here that you got to keep an eye on, but again, it's early. We shouldn't have had Bret and Cindy to begin with. But for June 24th, it is unusual, and that's why we're going to keep an eye on this wave. This one does have some kind of spin to it. This one leaving Africa pretty good, but again, it looks a little less active on the wave train than it did yesterday and the day before when we had Bret, Cindy, and then 2 or 3 big waves. Now we have what's left of Bret petering out, Cindy over here, and then a couple skeleton waves, and this one leaving Africa. So it's still something to watch for this time of year. We're going to keep an eye on the tropics. Again, it's been active for late June. Tropical Storm Bret blowing through the southern windwards yesterday. Now it's going to die in the Caribbean. Tropical Storm Cindy should get blown apart north of the Caribbean islands and potentially come on back. You want to watch it in Bermuda. We'll keep an eye on it as well. I'm Mike Naso with the latest on the tropics. I'll talk to you next time.